like to recruit Good evening and good morning, everyone. I am Simi Nair from Pennsylvania. I am a member of the Joy Oneness Inclusive family. Welcome, my fellow meditators and dear friends. Thank you for taking this moment just for yourself. This is your time to pause, breathe, and reconnect. This is the time to focus on what truly matters within you, a space where all the outside world quiets down, a moment to simply be. There is really no need to do anything except just show up and be present, just allowing ourselves to let go of all the distractions and expectations, release the rush of daily life, recharge, reflect, and nurture. Today is day 21 of Swayam journey. This immensely wonderful meditative journey is brought to us in partnership with IFSS, Omega, Joy's Oneness Inclusive, also called Joy, PSSM Ignite, Breath Universe, Beat, PAIMA, and PMMA. It is with immense pleasure that I would like to welcome James Parker. Please join me in welcoming James Parker to lead us in our meditation today. A few words about James. James is a spiritual scientist based in North Carolina, United States, and he is a co-creator of Joy's Oneness Inclusive. He holds a bachelor degree and a PhD in chemistry. Wow, that's impressive. In his meditative journey, James experienced a spiritual awakening that shifted his understanding, bringing a deep knowing through feeling. Without further ado, over to you, James, to lead us through this wonderful meditative journey.
Thank you so much, Simi. It's a very big pleasure and honor to be here. So thank you so much. I'm very happy to see you here and happy to be with everyone for this meditation. Um, I'm looking forward to meditating. I always have a good connection with people, even through the computer when we meditate. Um, so I always enjoy the group meditations. It's really a time to experience our oneness with one another. That's why I think group meditations are so special, is because you come together with other people and you really do, while you're meditating, experience oneness. And you get a sense of it through what I call feeling states. It there's a feeling you can just sense it through the heart. Um, and so that's why I think group meditations are special. I, of course, meditate by myself, generally every day. Um, and then from time to time, at least once a week, typically, sometimes more, do the group meditation. So um, I suppose we'll just get right into the meditation. So about a 40-minute meditation it will be. And I will encourage you to sit with your back up straight. I'm on a sofa. I'm trying to be relatively comfortable, but you can sit on a hard surface. Many times when I meditate, I'm actually on the floor. I have a separate area in my house where I do my um, solo meditation, and it's generally on the floor on a woolen rug, and I'm facing east in general when I do it. But today, since we're doing a group meditation, I'm going to sit on my sofa and be a little more comfortable. So I encourage you to be comfortable, but the main thing is have your back straight. Cross your legs, I like to have my hands together and just place them into my lap. So let's start to get into the meditation. Let's begin by closing the eyes. And we'll start by taking in a deep breath. So go ahead and inhale and hold. Exhale. And one more. Let's inhale and hold. And exhale. Now, as we go into the meditation, let's allow the breath to go to its normal state of inhale, exhale, and let's not control the breath anymore. Allow it to go in, stay, and go out just as it would without you having to think about it at all. But just keep your attention on the breath. Just be the observer of that breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Noticing that you don't have to do anything. The breath does what's needed. Now, as thoughts may be coming and going in your mind, don't pay the thoughts any attention at all. Just allow your thoughts to pass through while you're focusing on the breath. And as we're focusing on the breath, be aware of any feelings that are in your body. You may have physical sensations in your body. Be aware. Just accept whatever feelings you have with no resistance. You may have feelings coming through chakra centers. Notice your heart chakra center. Notice what feelings might be there now. Just notice it. Only observe it without judgment while watching the breath as the breath goes in and out. We're in a group of meditators now. Remember your brothers and sisters who are in this group together. Feel the oneness in the group as energies are contributed by all members of this group. The energies flow between meditators, connecting us, reminding us of our oneness. Now, let's be aware of breath as we go deeper into beingness. Let's remain in the center of our being, observing without judging. Oh, my dear friends, 2 more minutes and we'll finish our meditation. Keep focusing on the breath. My dear brothers and sisters, 30 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Whenever you're ready, take your palms, rub them together, place them over your eyes, and slowly you may open your eyes and look into your palms.
Thank you so much, James, for such a blissful, immersive meditation. Lots and lots of gratitude. That was amazing.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. For me, it was a very deep meditation. I felt a lot of peace. Especially at the beginning of the meditation, I felt this exchange of energy when I was asking people to try to notice it. I noticed it. I noticed this exchange of energy. I felt like it was going around a group of people, it's like a circle of people almost. So,
Mm.
and then things got real, real silent and very calm. And I didn't even know that the breath was there anymore.
Yes, it's phenomenal. Yes, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. And my dear friends, now that we have had this beautiful meditation, I think we're all ready to hear more about James's meditation journey. James, I'm going to just give it back to you. You led us through this amazing, I agree completely with you. That was an immersive, wonderful meditation for all of us, I'm sure. And we would like you to share some wisdom and some experiences regarding your meditation journey.
Oh, yeah, sure. It'd be my pleasure. So I can tell you about my own experience. Like I've had several, but I have one big experience that really stands out because it marks a point my life where I feel like there's definitely like I was just like a regular person in the world, kind of stuck in, I guess, like when you grow up and you go to school and you learn everything, you get this picture of the world and you get a picture from society and school and everything that says, here's the world, here's the way to picture of it, and you just kind of fit in. And then I did meditation. So 4 years ago, I I did meditation. That's when I first started meditating. I think I was ready for it though, which is why it happened for me very soon after I started meditating. I was just ready for it. I had been, searching for spiritual answers. I was never satisfied with the story that we're presented with, that we grow up with. And I always was searching for more. Like, where's the meaning here? This doesn't mean much to me, you know? I got to find the meaning behind it. And so, one of the things I was doing is I was really looking for somebody who could show me. I had I had been in different religions, one in particular that I grew up with, and it wasn't satisfying because it wasn't showing me. It wasn't showing me God. It wasn't, I mean, God was present, of course, but I couldn't see God. And it wasn't, and I didn't feel like I understood the meaning of anything. Why are we here? What's it for? What are we supposed to do? All these kind of basic questions. I got my PhD in chemistry, so I uh, I studied the physical sciences because I wanted to learn about the world, and I did, and all that was great, but it still wasn't satisfying. I got all this knowledge and education, and I still wasn't satisfied because I still didn't feel like I had the meaning, you know? So one of the things I did is I was looking for a guru, and I don't think Americans do this much, honestly. I think I'm one of very, very few Americans who would go out and say, I'm going to find a guru to show me the meaning. And well, I found one. I, I did my due diligence, and I looked very carefully, and I found a guru to go with. And he was offering a program. It was an 8 day, he called it a radical aliveness program. And I signed up for it. And I, I never meditated before, but that was part of the program. Part of the program is he would lead everyone in meditation. And so we all got with the guru, and he led us every day that we met with him in meditation several times per day. And I really, really like the group meditations. The group meditations for me were absolutely phenomenal. I could feel the energy of everyone in the group. And of course, the guru himself, he had the most energy and the most authority. And I was very sensitive to it in my heart. And so I really love the group meditations, and he had us do other things too. He was trying to break down the perception of the individual me and the individual you to show the unity behind all. And he had different methods for doing it. So we did other things as well. So the whole experience was something that culminated at the end of it in a moment where I was completely transformed. I mean, what I was before the retreat and what I was after the retreat were completely very different. I guess what I'll say to try and describe my experience at the end of the retreat is I felt like at the end, at my heart chakra level, that there was just this fire burning. It was just a strong, strong sense of heat. Nothing unpleasant, quite the contrary, a very, very pleasant source of energy, like a fire burning in my heart. And it's been burning ever since with various degrees. At the beginning, it was burning with a whole lot of heat, a whole lot of fire, enough fire to destroy all of my wrong ideas. And I didn't realize they were wrong ideas until the fire came in and destroyed them all. And then I realized, wow, all that stuff I believed, it's not true. None of it was true. The idea of a separate self isn't true. We're all one. We're all connected. No one is an individual island or separate entity as much as you might think you are. The body isn't truly what we are, it's what we have. It's there, yes, but it's not the essence of what we are. So this is another thing that I learned, and nobody told me this. It came through the heart level chakra, as this transformation was taking place, which, honestly, it didn't take any time at all. Um, and so and so there were lots of things happening at the time of the experience. And I wasn't aware of everything that happened at once, but I was aware of a lot of joy, so much joy. It was incredible. My mind was completely silent. It just went completely silent. There were no thoughts at all. And the fire was burning, and I had a lot of joy. And I didn't even know what to do with myself. And I just remember I was lucky that after the retreat, I had booked a few days to be by myself, which in retrospect was very, very wise. I was by myself out in the retreat was in France, and I booked a place in France out way out. And I was in a hotel, and I had so much energy going through my body. I didn't know what to do with it. And so I actually cried for several days. And not all day long or anything, but it's very uncharacteristic for me to just burst out crying spontaneously for no apparent reason. I just cried and cried and cried for a few days. And I think that was just the body letting go of the wrong ideas, the wrong beliefs that it had learned through the system of training that we have that teaches us the wrong things. And it's nobody's fault. We can't blame anybody for it. It's just the system we've developed, and it's an imperfect system. And you come to realize it at a certain point, though, that you've learned a lot of wrong things in your life. And so, one of the big messages that I really took home from my experience is we're all love. Okay. That's the energy that's really powering everything, is this energy of love. And you can think, well, what is it then? Well, what is this love energy? What does that mean? And everybody has an idea of love, but love is so much more than you can think of it. It's so, so much, whatever you can think of it, it's a whole lot more than that. And so I would say, love is um, one way to kind of say what it is it's just a recognition of oneness everywhere. Like when I see another person and I can see myself in that person, that's love. Can I help somebody who asks me for help if somebody genuinely needs it? Can I actually stop what I'm doing, give that person my attention, and say, how can I help you? And can I honestly give what they need when they ask me? Now, if I know that that person who's doing the asking is really no different than me, then of course I can help and I will help and I'll do whatever I can to help. Because if I'm asking for help and I need it, I would, very much like to receive the help. And so love is like putting yourself in somebody else's place and having a lot of compassion for that person and saying yes when you don't want to. When the person says, I've got nowhere to sleep, do you know anybody who can help me? Do you know anybody who has an extra room in their house? Can you just say to that person, you know what? I've got an extra room in my house. Why don't you come over to my place and just, you know, you can stay there, you can have that room, and I'm going to help you out. So can you do it? I mean, these are things that are hard to do. These are things that the world, the world doesn't teach that you would respond that way. The world says, this isn't your problem. There's shelters, there's social programs. You should just leave that person go their own way. And because hey, that's what the government's for. And I can't do it. I just can't do it. I mean, if I'm able to, I say yes. I say, you know what? This person is my friend. This person is my brother. This person is my sister. And I don't mean that literally, but I mean it on a spiritual level. We are all so interconnected on a spiritual level that I already know that this person is my brother and my sister. I don't have to even wonder who is this person. I already know. Like, so truly, I don't ever view anyone as a stranger. Okay. I see somebody, maybe I never saw him before, but there's a familiarity with this person. I welcome people. I smile. I say hello. If they don't see me, if they don't say anything, it's okay. I don't care. I don't get upset if I smile or say hello and somebody doesn't. For me, it's okay. I'm just they're busy doing their thing. It's okay. Um, so love is really, really giving giving when somebody asks. It's being willing to give when people ask for it, and it's also being willing to receive. When somebody wants to give us something and they offer us a gift, we should always say thank you, and we should always receive it with a lot of gratitude. Um, I've seen I've seen many occasions where, people want to exchange presents on a holiday, and they just say, "Well, let's do an exchange program. I'll buy you a present and you can buy me a present, and we'll just exchange presents." Well, that's not really love. If it's a quid pro quo, I'll do this for you if you do that for me. That's not love at all. That's just, hey, we're just doing this thing because we want to do it. So when somebody just wants to give anything at all, I say thank you. I say thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's wonderful. And that's the way to receive. And when we give from the heart, and remember the connection that exists between us all. It's the unbreakable bond. it's the essence of what we are. And so there's a there's kind of like a two level a way to see reality. There's this kind of low level individual self that looks out through the body and says it's an individual, but then through the heart comes a whole lot more wisdom and knowledge that you can't get in a book, that you can't get through your eyes, but the heart says, I know you. You're the same as me. We're brothers. We were created at the same time by the same source. We belong together. And even if, you know, I only meet you for, I don't know, a minute and I never see you again, it's still important to me because I understand the significance of it. Okay. Nothing happens uh, with just chance only. Everything that's happening is for a purpose. It's for our own spiritual development. It's for our own advancement as we grow and grow and grow into these infinite beings that we truly are. And remember, you're not a body, you have a body, okay? What you are doesn't end where the body ends. It's going and going and going. And that's something else I also learned through my experience that came because of my group meditation. And so I have been meditating regularly the past 4 years. I really enjoy it. I think it's wonderful. It keeps me in touch with this energy, and sometimes, you know, when you're working in the world and you're doing your job and you're doing what you have to do because you have a job, you kind of forget sometimes. And the meditation helps me to remember. It helps me to focus back on the heart chakra, and then all that energy just comes right back again. So tonight when we were meditating, I was very aware of all that energy coming right back. So that's my experience. I don't I hope I explained it enough that people can kind of get an idea for it. But if somebody has questions, if you wanted to know more, maybe I could, if we have time, I could answer some questions.
Thank you, James. That was really wonderful. I mean, I love how you said about the oneness. I do have a question. I was listening to you. So, I mean, being a man of science, right? Like it's all deeply rooted in facts. Like science is about what is right in front of you. It's all about facts. Now, from that, I know you said it was kind of like, from what I understood, you said it was a kind of a quick transition within that 8 days of retreat and then your own journey by yourself. But before that, two questions. One, when did you start questioning and what caused you to question this, right? I mean, did you have any, and when you started questioning it, or when somebody started speaking to you about meditation, did you look at it with some kind of skepticism? Because, okay, that's more abstract than any form of sciences, right? That's before you started looking into meditation. Right now, I know we all are meditators, so we look at it a little differently. But when we started being a man of science, did that, how did that feel for you? And then did you have any challenges, right? Trying to integrate those two worlds, science, which is what you
Mm,
do in your as your day
mhm.
job, right? And then
Yeah.
meditation is your life. How did you
Yeah.
integrate the two worlds?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Great questions. So kind of the first question was like my attitude on meditation, kind of before I started meditating, coming from a science background. I was approaching it with an open mind because I had checked out this person who I'm calling a guru, and I checked him out very well, and I I did a lot of research on him. He'd written some books, and I'd concluded from his writings that he's authentic. And so I thought, well, I'm going to believe this person. I'm going to sign up for his teachings, and I'm going into it with zero reservation for the retreat. I'm going to just put my full faith into it and just do whatever he says and just believe that whatever he says is an authentic teaching. And I think going into it with that attitude can be very helpful. You've gotta have some faith because you're searching and you don't really know, is this the right path? Am I on the right path? Am I just doing something that doesn't make sense? You have no idea. And so having the faith is very much important, but the faith can be assisted by, I did my research, I checked this person out, their story seems so compelling, it's hard for me to doubt it. And so that helped me a lot. Even though I didn't know him before I met him, that helped me a lot. And interesting too, there were some things that transpired that were nonverbal. And I just felt like when he showed up, I just got this sense of that he had so much authority and so much power behind his being. It's not something you could see, but it was something that could be felt. And I thought, wow, every time I'm near him, I just get this sense of authority and power that's being transmitted. And it's just in a nonverbal sort of way, you can just feel it. And so my doubts were not even present. And so I think that's another reason why for me I got a very fast I guess you could call it a spiritual awakening um, because I was ready for it and I was open to it and I was really, really searching for it in a very genuine sort of a way without doubt in my mind. So I think all of that was super helpful to have the awakening come very quickly. And of course, having an authentic guru present, it's indispensable. Um, and then and then integrating the two, very challenging. So with science, I guess very challenging until it's not is kind of the way to put it. With science, we just want to remember that the way that this knowledge develops is according to the scientific method, which is very sort of precise. It's kind of like objective, there's an observer and an observed, and there's a collection of data through observations, and there's one forms a hypothesis to try and explain uh, what the data means. And like we're investigating some system, a physical system, whatever it is. We have questions. We don't understand how it works. And so we form a hypothesis, and the hypothesis is a guide, and it says, I believe that, X is causing Y. And I can't prove it, but that's my hypothesis. X causes Y. So then I collect a lot of data, I analyze it, and I can either say the data supports the hypothesis or it doesn't. And if it doesn't support the hypothesis, then at that point I drop it and I say, okay, well, this hypothesis doesn't seem like it's worth much. I need to find a different explanation. And so with science, because the data is generated, or not the data, but the concepts come out of this process, which we call objective, and we say that um, if it's if the knowledge that's gained can be reproduced by others in an independent sort of a way, then we can say that that knowledge means something. Okay. And so that's the scientific method. But then you know, um, we have intuition that comes in through the heart, and we have wisdom that comes through the heart. And this kind of knowledge is more like um, subjective knowledge. Okay. It's coming through the subject. I am the subject. And for you, you're the subject. Okay. And it just flows through you. And if you're open to this flow, um, you can be very intuitive and you can already know what should I do in a given situation. And you don't even have to think about it and you automatically know the right answer. And if you trust your intuition, you're always going in the direction that I would say is, I'm going to be careful with my words here, the direction that uh, is for the most good. Let's put it that way. That's how I would say it. Which direction should I choose in order to bring the most good? Okay. I can either go this way or I can go this way. And a lot of times the mind will say, "Hey, make a right turn over here," because the mind is really looking for supporting the body and you know, making sure that the survival of the body is number one. Okay. And a lot of times the intuition says, well, no, you should make a left turn over here. When you come up to the choice, you should go this way. And the intuition is looking for how can we bring about the most good for the most people? And a lot of times they kind of diverge. I mean, maybe sometimes they're the same, but a lot of times they'll diverge. And you'll say, well, I should do this. And even though it might seem that you're doing something that's not the best for you, it can turn out that um, there are unpredicted effects that come out of a decision to follow intuition. And it turns out that sometimes there's a whole lot more good, even for you, in going that way that your mind would never have been able to predict. And that's one of the things that I've been noticing myself as I follow my intuition. Um, I get a lot more satisfaction out of the decisions that are made intuitively, even though I might get a lot of pushback from my family because my family is saying, "What are you doing? Why are you not paying us attention? Why are you why are you helping other people?" And I do it because I feel called to do it. You know, I feel called to help people who ask me to help them, even in the face of pushback from my family when they say, your family is the most important thing and you have to, and I know where that comes from. My family is fine. It comes from a place of jealousy, and it's interesting to see it. They don't like it when I give attention to others, especially people they don't know, because they don't understand my motivation for it. And it's very difficult sometimes to be in a position where your heart is saying extend love and people around you don't get it at all. And so it can be very, very challenging. In fact, this is one of the biggest challenges I have found, even bigger than how do we reconcile science and intuitive wisdom? How do we reconcile giving love to others, especially people we don't know very well, versus our family who expect it because, they're entitled to it because they're our family. And they don't understand why I would help somebody who's not in the family. And so I've got this going on right now. It's an interesting dynamic that I'm dealing with, and we'll see where that goes. But it's been a very big challenge for me, and I don't ever expect it to stop. One of the things that's happened for me is I feel like now I'm in service to love. When love calls me to do something, I feel very compelled to do it. And even though my family might protest it, I say, no, this is important. It has to be done. And that's one of the big, big, big changes that's happened. And so we'll just see where that goes. It's causing some issues, but I'm hoping that the family can also learn some interesting things from these experiences that I'm having. So that's kind of my long explanation for your question.
Oh, that was beautiful. I mean, I love how you said service for love, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And it's like until you get into the meditation, we don't recognize, like, it's all about me, it's all about my family, it's all about everything else. But after some time, you kind of start seeing other things. I do see there's somebody else who has a question. Anju. Um,
Yeah, good morning. Yeah,
Morning.
see, you mentioned about the two directions or two opposite directions, like one by intuition, one through your mind, you know. So here I am also at the same, phase of life where 6 more years for retirement, and there is one calling, there is one thing that like I'm very much inclined towards sketching, painting, and when I do that I am in the state of flow. But that's a long way to go because professional world, engineering world was entirely different. The thing is, on that front I am facing a lot of issues, lot of bad practices which really pulls down your energy, that just a lot of extremely wrong practices. And here on the other hand, it's my like something that pulls me in the in the direction of art. So here I have to make a decision, like should I go in for premature retirement? And even if I make a decision, there's something that a fear comes up. So if you could just suggest me the way out, like how do I take this plunge or decision?
Hmm.
How? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a really great question, and the idea that fear too. So, whenever we see a fear, it's usually a projection. It usually comes from illusion. And so, I mean, the only fear that really kind of means anything might be preservation of the body, but um, you know, so, but to get past all that, because it's kind of you can't really. I would say don't make any decision based on fear at all. Instead, what I would do is I would sit maybe with a question in meditation and say something like, in which direction should go now in order to bring about the most good for not only myself, but for everyone around me? So you don't look at it just as me, what should I do for me? It's more like, what should I do for me and everyone around me? Okay. And sit with the question kind of like in contemplation, very quietly, and ask at the heart level when you're and by that I mean when you ask yourself the question, should I, take a premature retirement in order to pursue my passion in art or not? When you ask the question, notice how you feel in your heart. Um, how do you feel when you see yourself retiring from your job early and going to pursue painting? How does it feel? There should be a feeling that comes up. And the feeling will be a very strong indicator of what is the right answer in this situation for you. And that's an indication of intuition. Your intuition tells you through the feeling what to do. Okay. And you can practice this kind of decision making on smaller decisions before you do this one on, you know, the early retirement idea. You can start practicing it on smaller decisions which have less consequence, but take a smaller question and say, in this situation, what would be the greatest good if I did this one, if I went this way, or if I went this way, and stay with it and notice the feelings that come up when you think about going this way with the choice versus this way with the choice. And then decide with these smaller decisions about following your intuition and not necessarily going with the intellect, because the intellect is always going to say, well, it's obvious which way you should go. You should obviously do this because, it brings more money, it brings more security, it brings more pleasure for you personally. Lots of, hey, this is for me when I look at myself and I see myself as a body. Okay. That's what the intellect is always deciding on, and that's always the answer. Now, your intuition may or may not agree. It just sort of depends on, can you answer the question in a different way? What's the greatest good that can come out of this if I choose? And and then see what your intuition says and try to go in the direction that the intuition says for some smaller things. Notice the results and then start applying it to the bigger things. That's my advice for you. And that's a good way to start with making decisions based on intuition, because the more you can do that, the more you feel like, oh, I can trust my intuition, right? We've got to be able to trust it. If we don't trust our intuition, we'll never follow it. And if we end up never following it, we'll never get the benefits from it, which can be very, very large. But it does also require the idea of getting over a fear, because a lot of times, if you're going to make a decision that's contrary to your intellect, you can have a lot of fear. You can say, "Oh, what am I doing? Am I crazy? Why am I doing this?" So that's why I'm saying you got to be able to trust your intuition. And so you can start practicing it with some smaller, decisions before you do it with some bigger decisions.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, James and Anju. Totally agree about the intuition, right? They call it the gut feeling. I mean, you always feel like, okay, you have that gut feeling, but then your mind comes in and then you kind of resist it and say, no, that can't happen because that's not the way to go. But always ends up being the other gut feeling that should have been taken up first. Not sure if there are any other questions. Um, if there are no other questions at this time, I do have one other one for you, James. But so we talked about, how you have the wonderful like awakening, right? Like your joy and your that came out of that retreat, and you just started being a different person. And then I understand that you felt that oneness with everybody, right? It's not about you. There's no like James Parker, I guess. Like it's everyone.
Yeah.
Like we are all one.
Yeah.
I just love that. But at the same time, in addition to that, what other benefits did come into your life from that,
Oh, a lot
the
of
spiritual
benefits, very
awakening?
surprising, very surprising. Like I didn't expect things that happened. There had been some like chronic illnesses that I had that completely disappeared over different time frames. Some things went away maybe like instantaneously, like they were gone. Um, I had I had some angina that would happen sometimes. It never happens anymore. I had enlarged prostate. My doctor was giving me some drugs for that. That cleared up like immediately. Like it was just gone. Like, and I didn't even notice it for a while. And I had these meds I was taking, And I was thinking, I'm not having any issues. And why am I even bothering with these meds? So I stopped taking the meds and I realized that I was healthy and that the chronic conditions that I had, some of them my doctor told me, he said, well, you'll have these for the rest of your life because these are just things that people have to deal with, and we can give you some meds and the meds are going to make you feel better, so don't worry about it. But they just went away like they were never they had never been there. And so it was a lot of things. I had seasonal allergies. That one took longer, like to go away. Some like those two things that I just mentioned were gone immediately. I didn't recognize it immediately that they were gone, but when I thought about it later, I realized that they were gone immediately. But the seasonal allergies, I noticed that they were dissipating, and with time, they were going away, and I finally realized that in order for the seasonal allergies to go away completely, I had to withdraw my belief from them because I had a belief in my mind that said I was allergic to tree pollen. And every spring it would come true, even following my spiritual awakening. It was still there, but it was attenuated. It was less. And I thought to myself, I wonder why these allergies are still here. And I thought, it must be because I'm believing it. And so I stopped believing that I had allergies. I stopped believing that trees could make me sneeze and make me uncomfortable and give me red eyes. And the allergies are gone completely. 100% don't need to take any meds for the allergies because now they're non-existent. Um, My health is 100%. I don't need to see a doctor at all. I had uh I had some what can I call them? Skin blemishes on my face right around the eyes. And this was kind of interesting. I was thinking to myself, oh, I don't like those skin blemishes. They'd been there for years, and they'd just been, with time, they'd been getting kind of bigger and kind of not so good looking. And I thought, oh, I don't like these skin blemishes. I thought, I'll just call my wife's cosmetic doctor who specializes in facial stuff. She's a woman, she knows this. I thought, I'll just use my wife's doctor and I'll just go get him removed. Well, I made the appointment, and about a week before I was going into the appointment, for I don't know why, I just touched my finger to below my eye, and the skin blemishes stuck to my finger. And I thought, oh, that's strange. What's this on my finger? And I went and I looked in the mirror, and the blemishes were gone off from my eye, and there was new skin formed, and it just healed over. And I didn't need to go get the surgery for these things that were permanently on my face for many, many years. And so lots and lots of healing experiences that were very I would say outside of anything that you would normally expect happened to me. A couple other things that happened is I spontaneously quit drinking alcohol. I just physically could not drink alcohol. Whereas before I would have a glass of wine with dinner. I can no longer do that. I would out of habit, somebody would hand me a glass of wine and I'd start to drink it. And as soon as it touched my tongue, I had to put it down for some reason. And I can't explain it at all. I just put it down, and I just can't do that. I can't eat meat anymore. I would eat meat from time to time beforehand. It's the same with meat. I just can't eat meat anymore. Same sort of reaction. Um, if it were to touch my tongue, I would somehow get an awareness saying, oh, that's not wanted. Why am I doing this? That's not wanted. Put it down. So these are all things that happened as a result of the spiritual awakening that occurred because of the group meditations that I was participating in 2021. And these are all permanent effects. I've not had any reversals on any of it. So it's all been with me ever since.
That is amazing, 100%. I mean, well, I mean, of course, you spoke about other conditions, but the skin condition, you touch it, it came to our hands. I mean, like, wow, that is 100% like amazing. So,
Yeah.
so in addition to like your spirituality and everything, you also had all these physical benefits that came from the meditation as well. And it's amazing that like how in that short period of time. So you must have been really ready when you kind of started for that meditation. I
Absolutely.
do see
Absolutely.
Prithvi.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
was probably doing some preparatory work for about 4 years, since maybe
Mm.
about 2017, really searching and trying to find the right books to read and really getting ready for the
Mhm.
retreat that I went on with my guru, which I didn't know would happen, but it happened,
Right,
you know.
right.
So,
Amazing. That's wonderful. I did see Prithvi's hand up. Please go for it. Did you have a question?
Yes, hi, James.
hey,
It's always a pleasure to listen to you because it's not the words that you speak, it's the energy with which you speak. It
oh,
always
thank you so much.
grounds me, and I
Thank
always
you.
love hearing you. So one question that I had is, James, you have been emphasizing a lot on group meditation
Yeah.
in your whole speech. So, can you help us understand what exactly happens biochemically? Because you're a chemist professor. Please help us understand what exactly happens biochemically in the body when we do group meditations.
Yeah, so that's a really great question. For me, what I think is happening is it's a recognition that the energies that we carry are recognized within our bodies when we're doing a group meditation. So I have an energy that I carry, you have an energy that you carry, and when we do a group meditation, these energies are exchanged between the members of the group. And so I'll feel your energy and you'll feel my energy and um you'll get an understanding of my state and I'll get an understanding of your state. And this understanding helps us to know the oneness that connects us. Okay, we are one, we are all connected. Uh, Even though your eyes will say that you're not and that you're an individual person and that there's no connection between you and me, when the group meditation, you get a feeling for everyone's energy in the group. And it provides an awareness of an underlying essence of this, what I'll call oneness that connects us all. It's at the spiritual level, okay? So the spiritual level. So we've got the human has, the physical body level of being, and then there's the mental level of being, and then there's the spiritual level of being. And those are kind of like three like different levels that most people can relate to and understand without too much trouble. And so when we have a group meditation, it really helps us to uh, become more aware of our spiritual nature by the fact that we do exchange these energies. And the energies, I'm not saying what kind of energy they are, other than there's definitely a love energy that people carry, whether you're aware of it or not, and whether you ever express it outwardly or not. there is a love energy that you carry, and that energy can be sensed by others. Um, and so, um, being in a group meditation can help you become more aware of that energy. Now you could still become aware of it in a solo meditation, which mostly a lot of meditators just meditate solo because that's the easiest thing to do. And you can still become aware of this love energy that you carry, but it might take a little bit longer, I think. Um, just just naturally, if you're just meditating on your own, you'll still have the benefit. Um, but I think being in a group, especially if there's members of the group who are farther along the path, especially some members who maybe already have like had a spiritual awakening experience, that's a permanent unfoldment or a transition. It's a permanent it's a point in your life that's very, very significant and it stays with you. And because you've had the experience, when you're in a group meditation, that experience can become available to others who are looking for it. Okay. And that's one reason why you would like to meditate with a group of people, especially people who are far along on the spiritual path, because it can make your own path shorter. Okay. It can help you by getting you there faster because you're taking advantage of someone else's experience and energy. Okay. Whereas if you did it on your own, sure, you'll still get a benefit, but it could take longer if you did it on your own. So that's one of the reasons why I think group meditation is very important and why it can be very powerful.
Um, thank you, James. I do see Shibu. Please go for it. And before Shibu, one quick thing, James, is there's a request from Anju for you to please share the recommended list of books.
Oh,
So we,
yeah, sure, I could do that. I have them off the top of my head. I'll just say what they are. I don't remember where I wrote that. Um, but I do have some recommended books for anyone who is looking for more. The the books in my life that were most impactful. These are the books that I read right before I went on the group retreat, and I think they prepared me for the group retreat very much. One is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That one really, really resonated with me. Really, I would say, got me at a point where I was ready for the spiritual awakening. Um, Another book that I read and still love is called A Course in Miracles. This book is unlike anything I've ever seen. Um, it's called A Course in Miracles. And one of the things about the book that's interesting is there's a daily lesson. So there's a text and there's a workbook. And the workbook is a daily lesson every day for a year. And so you just commit to doing these daily lessons every day, and it will change your thinking so much that it will turn your world upside down. What you thought was correct, you realize was incorrect. Um, and the text behind it is so powerful. Uh, it's a way of understanding the spiritual nature of every person. I've never seen anything like it. It really, it really like opened up my heart a lot. So I definitely recommend that book. Any other books I read before? After my spiritual awakening, I read Autobiography of a Yogi. I really like that book too, and I think that's a great one to read for anybody who's looking for more. Let's see. If you're interested in books on healing, how do I heal the body? So there are books written by David R. David Hawkins. He's an MD, PhD, so it says it right in the author on the author line, David Hawkins, MD, PhD. He wrote several books on spirituality, and he was one of the things that he did with his own spiritual experience was to try and help people heal physically and mentally from their problems. And so one of his books, I think, is called Healing and Recovery, where he talks about how can you heal the body, not by going to a doctor and having traditional medicine, but how can you heal the body by using the power of the mind? And it goes back to, there's the physical, there's the mental, and there's the spiritual aspect of the human. And the physical is the lowest, least powerful. And the mental is the next highest power. And the spiritual is the highest power. And so he focuses on if I can change my thoughts that are happening in my mind, if I can change what I believe, how does that impact my health? How does that impact my body? And it turns out there's a direct correlation between what you believe and your state of health. So as soon as you drop the wrong ideas about yourself, which involve self-criticism, self-blame, self-judgment, when you drop all that, then the body becomes naturally healthy. The diseases just disappear and go away because you're no longer using your mental energy in a way that's not constructive. Okay. And so I really like his books. If you're looking for, alternative ways to heal, I do believe his books have a great message in them. So that's it.
Thank you, James, so much. Over to Shibu. Thank you for patiently waiting, Shibu.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Simi. First of all, great hosting. Thank you. And James, amazing, amazing session, great meditation. It's always a pleasure, as Prithvi mentioned, right? Just listening to you. It's all always from the heart. So thank you so much for this.
You're
Yeah, I think
welcome. My pleasure.
James, my questions, James, I think you kind of expanded on that a little bit when you're answering Simi's question, or rather Anju's question about the book, right? So you
Mhm.
mentioned about the belief system and the fact that, the certain illnesses, just by removing that belief system, we can remove that illness, right? Remove that illness
Mhm.
because it's
Mhm.
also the belief which is causing it. How can
Yeah.
that belief be total? Because is it there are some schools of thoughts which says, okay, you believe you have to reinforce it. I don't have that issue anymore, but you keep reinforcing it over a period of time. But the problem with reinforcement is every time you try to reinforce, it is also coming from a space of I still have that problem. So how
Mm.
do you reconcile? How do you make it total
Yeah.
belief? Like
Yeah. So basically, like my example for me was I could um I'll be right back. My cat is meowing. I have to let my cat in. And cat. My cat hears me
Y'all,
talking and she's meowing. So I have to let
we
her in.
all are we all
uh,
are ruled by our pets,
It's
aren't
it,
we?
it's it's 10:15, man. Cat's calling for attention.
Yeah. So let me give you my example that goes back to my allergies. So I understood that my allergies were attenuating, and I was thinking about, well, why didn't the allergies really go away 100%? Like everything else went away
Hmm.
100%. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I had a belief and my belief said that I was allergic to tree pollen. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking, well, where did that come from? And I was thinking about the very first time I was allergic to tree pollen. I was in my mid-20s. It was spring. I had this horrible, horrible reaction, and I didn't even know what was happening. And somebody said to me, "Oh, you must be allergic to tree pollen. It's spring. All these trees are putting out pollen. Um, this is the explanation for what's happening with you." And I accepted that as true. And I thought, "Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense, right?" So I believed it, and I carried that belief with me. And and so I realized finally that, oh, I'm believing that I'm allergic to it. And let me stop believing in that idea. And if I stop believing in that idea, I shouldn't be allergic anymore because everything else went away. And this I still believe. And so I did this experiment. And the question that you have, I think, is how do we eradicate this belief? And that's the challenge. This is the challenge. How do you really eradicate the belief? So you have to intentionally cancel the belief. You have to say, it's ridiculous that I would be allergic to tree pollen. And you keep telling yourself over and over, it's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe that I could even believe such a ridiculous thought. And every time you think, oh, uh, you see pollen coming off the trees, and you start thinking crazy things like, oh, I better run inside the house. I better close my windows. I better take an allergy med. You stop right there and you say, that's so ridiculous that I'd be allergic to that tree pollen. And you don't run in the house and you don't close your windows and you don't automatically grab the meds. You just say, that's such a ridiculous idea. I can't even hardly believe that I was believing that. And just over and over again, you just keep doing that until these thoughts of I'm allergic to tree pollen don't even come up anymore because you've canceled them out completely. And then you should really notice the difference. I mean, I think you'll see the difference in
Mm-hmm.
your body's reaction to those sorts of things. I've certainly seen it myself that the allergy issue is completely non-existent anymore for me. So that's
Beautiful.
the method I recommend everyone to try. And just stick with it. Some of these things are very strong beliefs that we've picked up and we've put the power of our belief behind them. And you've gotta really put in some energy to cancel them because some of these ideas you've kept with you for many, many years, and they're very ingrained in your mental processes, and you've just got to cancel it by putting in a counter belief and saying, that's not true for me. That's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe that anymore. And then you should see a difference.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for explaining it in that beautiful ways, James. Again, this is
Welcome.
also about that awareness, right? You also have to be aware that these things are coming up and you catch that when it happens. So beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
way. Thank you so much.
Yes. Exactly. You're
I
welcome.
think I saw Vikal Gupta. Please go ahead. I think you had your hand up, please.
Pardon, I did not get you. Said something?
I thought you had your hand raised. Did you have a question?
No, I did not. But
Okay. All
it's
right. No
always,
worries.
always, listen to James. I think this is in sequence third or fourth, session I am attending, either on Sambala or here and there. Always good to, you keep encouraging for, mainly on the physical healing and all. Those are really, very amazing to listen. Thank you very much, James, for taking out time and coming and
You're
sharing
welcome.
your
Yeah, my
wisdom.
pleasure to be here, certainly.
Of
Hmm.
course. Any other questions from anybody in the group? for James? All right. If we don't have any other questions, again, thank you, James. I mean, I have to agree with Prithvi and Shibu. I mean, it's your words are amazing, of course, as Pickle said, but the tone of your voice is much, much more amazing. It's so soothing. Um, I just soak it in, and I'm sure all of us just want to, not want to, we believe in that, right? It's all about faith. So thank you for that. I mean, those wonderful, wonderful meditation and words of wisdom. I really, really, and all of us really appreciate that. And again, thanks to all of you, right? Like for dedicating this time to ourselves and coming together. And as James said, soaking in the energy of the wonderful group meditation. It's so powerful, right? We all sit by ourselves, and most of us are meditators, but the group energies are different. So thanks to all of us, and hoping to see everybody again tomorrow. So if nobody has questions, I hope those of you in India have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. And those of us in the United States, have a great night. Good night, everyone. Thank you so, so much. Bye.
Have a good night. Bye bye.